all-nighter. Street magic, chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Need y'all to take a ride with me. I'm just a kid from Fall River, what I know. Riding through my city that they're gentrifying, market rate housing while there's homeless dying. And I know that they're trying cause this program's out there, but I ain't reaching out there, they ain't reaching out there. Empty storefronts, internet to blame, gotta move different if nothing is the same. Entertainment venues, bringing nightlife, transparent police, body cams that's live, I mean live stream they whole shift. Personal info can censor it, even though when involving police it becomes public info. But that's a different topic for a different tempo. Back to my city that they're gentrifying, panhandlers on the Ave and the addicts dying, parents crying, losing kids, half my generation that are doing bids. So how are we gonna get to the youth, teach them right and wrong, when not to shoot? Started young in kindergarten, mental health class, your brain's a garden. Teach them all about their feelings till senior year, let's start the healing. Since tech's here to stay, let's teach with VR, less bills that way. But what do I know? What can I say? I'm just a kid from Fall River. It's just my observations, chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. It's all-nighter. All-nighter. Street magic, chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Need y'all to take a ride with me. I'm just a kid from Fall River, what I know. Riding through my city that they're gentrifying, market rate housing while there's homeless dying. And I know that they're trying cause this program's out there, but I ain't reaching out there, they ain't reaching out there. Empty storefronts, internet to blame, gotta move different if nothing is the same. Entertainment venues, bringing nightlife, transparent police, body cams that's live, I mean live stream they whole shift. Personal info can censor it, even though when involving police it becomes public info. But that's a different topic for a different tempo. Back to my city that they're gentrifying, panhandlers on the Ave and the addicts dying, parents crying, losing kids, half my generation that are doing bids. So how are we gonna get to the youth, teach them right and wrong, when not to shoot? Started young in kindergarten, mental health class, your brain's a garden. Teach them all about their feelings till senior year, let's start the healing. Since tech's here to stay, let's teach with VR, less bills that way. But what do I know? What can I say? I'm just a kid from Fall River. It's just my observations, chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. It's all-nighter.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Aaron, all-nighter. This is the Fall River Experience, episode 15. Make sure you share this out to your newsfeed, share this to groups, tag people in the post, tag people in the comment section. Send this out to like-minded individuals in Messenger. We are streaming on 2 different platforms, 3 different locations. YouTube, Street Magic Multimedia, so subscribe. Turn on notifications and make sure when you subscribe, you smash that subscribe button. And on Facebook, the Fall River Experience and Aaron All Nighter Facebook page. Follow, turn on notifications, and put all notifications. It's highly appreciated. Now, if you're a digital creator, have your professional mode turned on. Put at followers, at highlight, at top fans in the comment section. If you're an admin or a moderator of a group here on Facebook, share this out to your group. Put at everyone in the post. It tags everyone in your group, and that really gets the word out. Now, if you're new to the show and you don't know, The regulars will tell you I start each and every episode with the weather. That way, if you ain't been outside yet today, you know how to dress for the day. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
Well, we're in a pinpoint weather 12 alert for the heat advisory that remains in place for the rest of today. It's until 8 p.m. tonight. It covers our entire area except for Block Island. That's the one spot that's not included in it, but it's still really muggy and humid out there. Right now, 85 on Block Island, 90 now in Providence. So if we hit 90 degrees tomorrow, it would be an official heat wave, with the third day being tomorrow of having 90 degrees or hotter. We'll see. It's going to be a close call for that. Otherwise, they're looking at 91 in Taunton, 89 down in New Bedford, 82 in Newport. But those are the actual air temperatures. When you factor in that humidity, this is what it feels like. So 92 is what it feels like in Providence, 96 down in Westerly, and 98 from Taunton down towards New Bedford. It is just very hot out there. And here's Block Island. This is a good place to be because it's not quite as hot out here, surrounded by water. Nice day to be walking around downtown or just, again, enjoying the weather. Live radar is quiet. There could be a spot shower or storm around our area for the afternoon, but I think most of the time we're staying dry. A lot of the activity is off to our west, and this should not bother us. So whatever we see would be brief and pretty isolated as well for the remainder of the day. So three key things. Again, heat advisory does continue. Afternoon shower or storm chance. And as we go through the weekend, still looking at the heat and humidity holding on, though the dew points on Sunday will back off a little bit. It'll still be muggy, but just not quite as, oppressive as what we've been seeing. So here's the satellite and radar, seeing all the cloud cover and rain to our west. Again, we're looking good. Just some hazy sunshine out there after some early morning fog and clouds. Looking pretty good out across our area. Let's time things out for the rest of today into this evening. Hazy sunshine continues. Again, there could be some clouds around, but otherwise it's not that bad at all outside. Hot and humid. Those temperatures, though, again, feeling much hotter. It'll feel like the upper 90s over the next, 3-4 hours or so. Notice, though, by 2-3 o'clock, we could see a couple of these pop-up showers nearby. Again, it's going to be isolated, not really a widespread issue, but they could pop up with all that daytime heating and the humidity and a lot of moisture in the air. So we'll watch that closely, of course, over the course of the afternoon. Let's go into Saturday now, going to about noontime or so. Another hot one expected, upper 80s to around 90 for those temperatures. So again, potential heat wave by tomorrow afternoon. Same thing as today, a shower storm chance in the afternoon hours. But notice how tomorrow afternoon, it's a little bit more widespread. There's a little bit more of a, you see the yellows and oranges on the screen here. It's a bit more of a coverage area that's more so than it is today. So what that shows is that we could have some heavier downpours tomorrow afternoon making their way on through. So any outdoor plans, just keep that in mind. I wouldn't cancel them, but just be mindful of that. And that threat continues right into the evening hours as we go into tomorrow night. Then some early morning fog possible Sunday morning with some clouds around too. Staying muggy, though, right through the weekend. So for the rest of the afternoon, again, that shower or storm chance. Notice the precip chances are relatively low, about 15 to 20%. So it's not, a widespread issue. Temperatures, though, near 90 or so, but feeling more closer to the triple digits over the course of the next few hours. Your beach forecast for the remainder of the day. Hazy sunshine, safe sun index about 30 minutes or so with a low rip current risk, and the waves about 3 feet out on the water as well. Not too bad. It's actually pretty calm. We saw that this morning as well. Not seeing any big issues out there. Waves 1 to 2 feet, and your winds about southwest 5 to 15 knots. 7-day forecast here, staying muggy, humid, and hot right through the weekend and into next week. And notice those temperatures drop off as they kind of coincide with those shower chances returning as well. So again, get out and enjoy it, but just make sure you stay hydrated.
Yeah, that's a good point. We really should. It's easy to not do that.
It is, especially when you're drinking coffee.
Yeah, we're used to that on this shift, right?
All right, so it's a hot one out there. Fall River Government Center right now has a cooling center. So if you don't got AC, you have a hard time breathing, you're elderly, disabled, unhoused, you can go to City Hall. They have a cooling center right now. Now, we're going to get into the top story, the recent shooting. Check this out. We'll talk about
Fall
it.
River police investigating a shooting on 4th Street. Police say someone shot a 21-year-old man there around 9 o'clock last night. He was taken to St. Luke's Hospital in New Bedford for treatment. Police say he's in stable condition. No word yet on any suspects.
All right, so no word on any suspects yet. And man was shot in the stomach. He's in stable condition, St. Luke's. That was 4th and Morgan. Notoriously rough neighborhood. So not really the most surprising of news. But Fall River, come on, we could do better. Now, another thing that's been hitting the news heavy lately for Fall River the last few days is new waterfront parking and parking lot that's going to be put up. And don't worry, we're going to get to a bunch of different things that's not in the headlines. But we're going to get into this because a lot of people have been talking about it. The Redevelopment Authority just recently purchased land down next to the gates of the city and the Marine Museum. And, well, check this out. We'll talk about it.
Then we got to figure out, do we want to open this lot for free parking or not?
Temporarily?
Temporarily.
Did you do some legwork on the gate?
Yeah, so the automatic gates do not currently work. The one that's on Anawan Street, when the people did the remediation, they ripped up the power. So there's no power to that at all. The one that is on Water Street, there is 220 coming out of the building that we could use to reliven that gate. So I'm trying to get a hold of Richie over at Highland Fence because he actually did that gate for Liberty. So I want to talk to him about what it would take to liven that gate up again. Because if we want to do temporary parking, the question is, do we want overnight parking there or not? My thought would be, if we're going to do temporary parking, just open the gate on Water Street and let people park. And we'll just have that gate be open all the time. And if we don't want overnight parking, then I would need signage to say that, and we would need an automatic gate that would open and close on time. So I don't know what everyone's thoughts are about that.
Well, it's gonna be tough to give for free and then charge later.
Let's
go to this Gantt chart here. So is there any reason why we can't accelerate the bid package to August as opposed to the middle of September?
Well, I need an engineer to give me a proposal to work on this. We don't have that right now. And that's what I can jump right on, but I'm trying to figure out what we're doing and the timing of it. Because we can't demo. So the problem is that I can get the charging, to get the charging system, the parking system is going to take at least a month once you get approvals and know everything you're going to do. That's just to get the system. But there's more scope that goes with it. Are we going to temporarily stripe and charge and then close it and then demo buildings, restripe? Because at that point, I'm probably going to have to take parking equipment off and put back on because we'll need access to for bigger pieces of equipment to get on site. That may not be clear.
Once you look at that gate, you should be able to get in and out though.
Depends on the width of what they want. Like I have a walkthrough.
But you could also bring them in through the water on Street.
On Street's a smaller opening than Water Street.
I think that's pretty. They were bringing big trucks in and out of there.
Yeah, no, you
So I don't think it would damage the gate if that's the question.
not the gate, the equipment itself. That's what I would be.
Yeah, I doubt it, but something to look at.
Yeah.
I just think that two things. I think if we can accelerate the bid package, that may get us to a point where we could actually charge a nominal fee or whatever you're going to charge. And then secondly, from free parking, I don't know what that does from an insurance standpoint.
Insurance doesn't care. They think
They
it's a
don't.
parking lot right now.
I'd be surprised about that.
No, they think it's a parking lot right now.
So you're not going to have any additional liability once you allow the public to park in there?
Well, it's already insured.
It's already insured.
Overnight parking might change things.
No,
Yeah.
she said it did not matter.
No? Okay.
I
What-
think you want to get that in writing.
I think I have it already in an email.
Yeah, just to be on the safe side.
Have any conversations been held with the neighboring businesses? Could you potentially lease that property for the time being until construction begins? So if you talk with the Narrows and Troy City and Primos, if they're looking for parking effectively now, there might be some leverage there in that conversation to say, we can open this space
Well,
up.
they have free parking in that lot that's right next to the building right now. I mean, we could ask,
There's
but
very
we would
little,
still
but-
need to figure out about the overnight parking and whether we want to allow overnight parking and whether we would want a gate.
Can we back up a second? Why
Yeah.
do we even want to entertain overnight parking?
It's just, I agree with you.
Can't you
I don't,
Couldn't we just have the gate shut at whatever
Uh,
time?
You know, midnight,
we would need to
1
put the
o'clock or
automatic
something?
gate, because guess what? I'm not going out every night and closing the
Yeah,
gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got an automatic
Yeah.
gate, we could.
Yeah, but I think entertaining overnight parking is got trouble attached to it.
Yeah, because you could end up with abandoned vehicles, you could end up with, you know what I mean? It could be, yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think overnight parking is a good idea. But that's me, and you're the board, so I'll do whatever you guys want me to do.
The only thing I'm thinking out loud, but I don't know what time you would pick, but I think Primo's on certain nights is open really late.
They're open till 1 on
Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, yeah.
So that's kind of where this whole question about overnight parking came from, right? Is because you've got to have gates that are adjusting to close at different times. And there was a question whether we'd even have those gates in initially.
So there's two different, so once you get the parking system in place, that manual gate's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because what will happen is the arm will just lock at a certain
Right.
time. So the question is that you really have to decide, one, if you're going to have overnight parking, whether it's going to be on a temporary basis or a regular basis. So,
But why wouldn't we have overnight park? I mean, I don't even know. Does that next building even have people living in it?
But why would you have overnight parking?
Hmm?
Why would you, or why wouldn't?
Why would we need it? I mean, that would be for people who live where?
We don't need overnight parking.
I don't
think
think,
so.
yeah, I don't think we
No.
necessarily need it.
Yeah.
So then the question just becomes, when do you close that gate?
If somebody's at a restaurant, they drink too much and they get Ubered home, they might leave the car there.
Mhm.
And there's a stranger here and there, overnight parking. That's the only thing I can think of. But the other thing you mentioned about, doing temporary, I would think about the whole project, what you might do, and then make believe it's done and then draw lines like that. So we're not doing lines all over again. Like
We'd
how-
have to do the lines all over again when we demo the buildings.
Yeah, because you're gonna rip up that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carpet and stuff.
Oh,
You'll put a new coating over it and then restripe once the building's been demoed.
I thought it makes, then that changed the whole thing then. I see a lot of, it look like brand new tar over there already, so I thought you were just gonna, maybe put black, seal it, and then make it all look, it looks
Yeah.
pretty good from this site anyway.
that's
Yeah, it
where the-
doesn't look
that's
that
where
great.
The garage came down.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that great.
Well, I said, the issue that Ben brought up is, I don't know if they say the temporary license, and then have them responsible for closing it at night.
Who's that?
Say that again?
Temporary license with the Narrows or the Primo or somebody like that.
But are we walking ourselves into an issue that, down the road, we're gonna say, sorry, this has got a limited life to it?
No, I think everybody expects that. It's gonna be,
As long as everybody's clear on it.
I know everybody down there expects it's gonna be big parking.
If they have a vent next door at the
Gates.
gates, how do you control that? Where somebody would park if they're not?
But anybody can park
Yeah.
it. in there.
Well, I thought you said that you were gonna do the primos.
Well, I'm
and have
just
them
saying,
be
just to
charged.
close the gate at
Yeah.
night or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Narrows already rents the Battleship lot behind.
Yeah, behind, yeah,
But we let Primos use it when we know the show.
yeah.
But still, if, like I was there last night, there's cars everywhere. There's another show tonight. Primos has no parking at all. There are a couple of spots in the street there. That's it.
And the other thing is, maybe there's a way on that temporary, the gate that's there, that can be on a timer.
Yeah, I'd have to just get it all hooked up and
Get it
get
hooked
on.
up
I
and
just gotta
so
make sure
when
I'm
a big
trying to
sign,
talk
gate
to.
closes at 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's what we'd have to
Doesn't
do.
open at 9 a.m. next morning or
Like
something.
9,
Yeah, if I
So-
can,
Right, maybe that's the way to do it, just to hook that up temporarily until we get the,
I think that would be
Yeah.
better than trying to get, we
Right.
can get money for these, but.
no, I agree. So
Okay,
maybe
we're-
that's the way to do it, just have a big sign, gates closed at 1 a.m., 1:30, whatever it is. And then if you're in there, you're locked in there to the next one.
So you're saying Ricky's looking at
All right, so right now that lot will be a temporary free lot. It's going to be open around February, March, and then April they should have a new lot. They're going to have to do that lot twice. They're talking about, so it's double the expenses just because they're going to open it temporary and then have to do more work. There's going to be some demolishing of buildings. Right now, it's going to be free parking. They're discussing having an automatic gate. So if you're stuck in there at night, you're stuck in there. However, if they're going to do that, you can be damn well sure they're going to charge, because they're not going to let you sit in the parking lot for free overnight. You know what I mean? But they will shut the gates. Now, it would be a great revenue source if they did charge overnight and charge monthly. Maybe it's somebody who goes to the Narrows all the time or Primos all the time, and they want a guaranteed parking spot. Well, now they'd be able to do it. They can pay a monthly fee. They still got a bunch of meetings to do. They said that it's got to go to the historical commission. It's got to go to a few more subcommittee meetings, and no work is getting done on this till January for the big grand opening of April. But moving along, Fall River Community Media has a weekly interview with good old Mayor Paul Coogan, and we're going to check that out right now. We'll talk about it.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire.
Mayor, how have you been?
I'm doing okay, Keith. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Since we've spoken, a lot has happened within the city, and I just want to follow up on a couple of issues with you this morning. The City Council last week passed a fiscal year 2027 budget. I know that was a collaborative effort at the end in terms of your meeting with city councilors to get this passed. I guess talk a little bit about how you saw the process and how ultimately it turned out.
It turned out for the best for the city as far as I'm concerned, but it was herky-jerky for a little while. But again, when you are able to sit down and talk with counselors, bring them to the table, have the corporation council here, have finance here, work through numbers, work through ideas, and come up to some kind of a compromise that's the best for everybody. I think that's how we got it done. I mean, we did have a 1/12 for July, but that was just another step on the road to a final budget. And I'm very confident that the city is in a good financial spot right now for this year. I mean, you work with all the councilors. Almost every one of them would throw an idea on the table as something we worked with, and it was very positive. And as I said, we did do 1/12, but after that, we're off and running.
Are there any concerns as you move forward through the year? That's something that you and your financial team will just keep an eye on. I know trash is always a big issue, even though that contract now will move forward. Are there any issues that you're going to keep an eye on as the city?
Trash, health insurance is a big one. Health insurance, trash, obviously. Paying all of our employees a decent wage. We have some of our capital projects, whether it's Diamond, the roads, the streets, all these things have to be funded, but they're all part of making a city a better place to live. And working with our partners in the state and federal level, we just have to look for the best opportunities for Fall River to supplement our revenues and keep going. I mean, we have been blessed for a long time, and hopefully we keep going, because that's what we're trying to do. I mean, keep the city moving in the right direction. I think there's a lot of great positives, whether it's our parks, we're doing a ton of streets again, infrastructure. We're trying to keep the city clean. We have a lot of new people at DCM, so I'm not disappointed. There's work to do, and we're going to keep going.
Yeah. Also, in the past couple of weeks, Massachusetts Department of Transportation has officially notified potential developers of an invitation to bid to develop the land created by the reconstruction of Route 79. We've talked about this many times. I guess what's been the process for you in the city? I know you were hopeful that the redevelopment authority would take a lead role, but has there been a lot of cooperation between the city and the state on this?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things I do remember saying that no matter who ends up being the developer, whether it's RDA or the Massachusetts, the city's still going to win. I know that they now have some people talking about the project. There's some big developers that are looking at it, and I think, you know, if everybody stays on the same page and we work together, Fall River is really going to have a waterfront to be proud of. I think getting some retail, some restaurants, and some housing down there along that strip. I was down there last weekend. I mean, we had the boat run, we had the concert in Heritage. There was a number of people walking up and down on all of our pathways. The Cove restaurant was packed. It's really had a change. And you know, got Primo with their outdoor patio full, concerts at the Narrows. I went to one last week. It's really starting to come along down there. And if we keep our foot on the gas, I think we're going to have a great waterfront, which will be a testament to the city and to the people who live here.
You know, there's finally this week, there's been a lot of talk nationally. And of course, and sometimes things that are national kind of funnels down to a city like Fall River about the implementation of flock cameras, which police use quite often to help identify primarily vehicles and license plates. If there's an instance of a crime in a section of the city. You know, I'm sure you've heard some of the complaints here locally, even though they've been here for quite some time. What do you think of all of this commentary about the flock cameras?
I'm always amazed at, you know, when I talk to the police chief, no matter which chief we've had, whether it was Chief Hoare, Furtado, Garvin, they rave about the flock cameras and what they're doing to prevent some bad actors from doing negative things in our city. It's a great technology. I've never, in my 6 or 7 years here, heard one complaint from a resident saying, I was caught on a flock camera and I was not the person they were looking for. They dragged my son out of the car. No horror stories like that. These are just technology advancements that allow the police to track vehicles and see that they're doing what they're supposed to do, or to look for somebody that may have committed a crime and go get them. I was talking to the chief the other day about it. When we had those mattresses dumped on Wilson Road, we used a number of ring cameras to try to chase that person. I mean, the advancements in technology between ring cameras, business cameras, these security systems, there's cameras on all the time. So, you know, I mean, I get that sometimes, you know, things can go wrong. I've never heard of it in Fall River. And by the same token, I've heard a ton of stories about how they stopped some people riding around in a car that may have had a weapon or some drugs, and were able to prevent them from doing something that could harm someone, or just, you know, keep their illegal activities going on. It's a positive for me, and I'm just amazed that all of a sudden it's reared its head because they have been here for a while, and again, I've never heard anything about them.
Yeah. All right. With that, Mayor Paul Coogan, I thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
So that right there was Mayor Coogan talking with Keith Tebow from Fall River Community Media about the recent budget that passed. How City Council and Fall River government had a stalemate for about a month until they came to a compromise, finally passed the budget. Mayor Coogan's ideas for the waterfront with retail, restaurant, shops, and housing. And also Mayor Coogan's opinions on flock cameras, which Fall River has 41 of, and Fall River has had flock cameras since 2021. So Coogan's all for the flock cameras, ranting and raving about them. How are your views about what Coogan just said in that weekly update? Now, We got to get to the St. Michael's School drama and what's going on. It's heating up. Parents are mad. They're pulling their kids from the school. It's another diocese drama. Check it out. We'll talk about it.
A lot of unanswered questions. We're not getting any transparency. School's a few weeks out and people still don't know what's going on.
New in the night, team parents at St. Michael's School in Fall River are turning to 10 after the sudden dismissal of their principal. The diocese says it found payroll irregularities.
And the former principal denies any wrongdoing. And now some families say they're pulling their children from the school. Leanna Falk has a story.
My heart is broken.
Parents gathered outside St. Michael's School Wednesday night, searching for answers.
Mr. Klein is such a great principal. He's done so much for the school.
Just one of many standing by Ryan Klein after the Diocese of Fall River announced he would not return as principal. The diocese later told families it found what it called significant irregularities in Klein's compensation and said it made the decision after reviewing payroll records.
That was very questionable. And then when you hear his side and you know the person he is, you know his family, his children, I feel really bad that that's being done to him. He didn't deserve that.
Klein strongly denies the allegations. In a social media post, he claims the diocese tried to secure his silence with a separation agreement that included money and tuition benefits in exchange for saying the decision to leave was his. He also calls the diocese compensation claims false and defamatory. Some families are not convinced.
They're using him as a scapegoat, in my opinion. We want to know what's going on. What's the real reason? It's a blatant lie.
You don't believe it? No. No, 100% don't.
Parents we talked to say at least a dozen families have already opted to withdraw their kids. Monica Creador's son just graduated kindergarten. She's heartbroken he won't continue at St. Michael.
What brought you to that decision to take him out? Just no honesty. I think it's a hard decision, but I mean, we pay a lot of money in tuition. I mean, we work hard to put our children in an environment like this. That's not fair. It's just not fair. We pay too much money for this. I'm sorry.
It is expensive. Now, whose side are you on? The diocese? Almighty God. Who says that former principal Ryan Klein was fudging the paperwork in the books and the revenue, and that he wanted to leave on his own. And then, or do you believe former principal Ryan Klein, who says that he got enrollment up in the school, generated more revenue for the school, and that they wanted to use him as a scapegoat to get rid of him, to move those funds from that school to somewhere else in the diocese? Who do you believe? Comment below. Now, we're going to get to this next clip right here. And this is another brief interview with Fall River Community Media and the man behind a new website called FallRiverNOW. Now, you may have heard the name Matt Medeiros. You may not. He is the man behind the app that the whole city used during the blizzard of 26, where we got over 40 inches of snow. Everybody was using an app on whether their street was plowed or not. Well, he's created a few apps since then. And if you want to be in touch with Fall River News, besides hearing it from me here at the Fall River Experience, you can check for yourself at Fall River Now. And check this out. We'll talk about it.
Welcome back. You may remember that earlier this year, we spoke with local resident Matt Medeiros, who created an app that allowed residents to plot on a map their location so the city could determine whether their street was plowed during the blizzard of 2026. Well, Matt has used his expertise to develop further tools at a website called FallRiverNOW.com to help residents share and gain information with and from the city. You have done a lot more with the software you've been working with to create these types of sites where people can report things. I believe the next thing on your list was, people could report potholes and some other issues with streets, correct? That was your next project?
Yeah, so out of the snow app came I got tons of people who were sending me message on Facebook during that. One, complaining about their street, but it's like, hey, I'm not the one that's plowing the streets. But two, they were just saying like, hey, it would be great if we could report this, or especially potholes, and naturally potholes after a huge snowstorm like that, and the rest of the winter that we had, potholes was a thing, and lots of people complaining about it. So I was just like, well, I've got the platform here. I have some awareness here on that platform. Like, people have been using it for the snow. So let's also help individuals or citizens identify the streets that needed help on potholes, illegal dumping, broken trees, like whatever issue, non-emergency 311 issue that they would have. And then I also did a directory of the parks, right? So people could report any issues at parks as well, and discover parks at the same time. If you didn't know there was parks or which parks were available in the city, you can find it on the app. And yeah, just trying to like collect and gather that information. People can snap a photo. Here's the pothole, describe the issue. Here's the illegal dumping, describe the issue. And hopefully that raises awareness for other citizens who are trying to clean up the city, but also the city hall and the DPW or the DCM, to which I know that they've looked at. In fact, I've seen a few interviews of yours where you've talked to them, and they've said, yeah, we're looking at the app. I'm still working to officially get them to use it. But I know it's at least raising some awareness, which was the goal.
The steps were that, you had the plow side, then you had the pothole and other issue reporting, and you also had the parks information just for people. There's a map that you can click on where the parks are in Fall River. Even since then, you have created another portal, if you will, that looks at city government meetings and sort of breaks them down in some ways. I had a chance to look at it today, and it obviously you can watch the entire meeting, multiple hours if you wish, but you kind of broke it down in terms of topics. You sort of indexed, if you will, the process of the meeting, what took place at different times. And again, what was the idea for that? And I guess what's the intent of that?
So obviously I've always been interested in local government, how it works, how I can participate as a busy citizen. And everything can be found at FallRiverNOW.com. All the apps for like the reporting, the plow reporting, the 311 reporting, the civic meeting stuff, it's all under FallRiverNOW.com. And this was, built for the same need that I had from watching our city hall our city council meetings, our school committee meetings that are 3-4 hours long, sometimes 6 hours long. And I'm like, this is madness. I don't have time for all of this. So the city, the meeting app will take the transcript, download the video, take the transcript, summarize it, create timestamp topics so that citizens can just click into the moments that, matter most, and that matter most for them. For whatever topic. Some people really care about public safety, other people about trash stuff, budgets, et cetera, taxes. So you can see all of that stuff and click into it. You can search for keywords that you're looking for. I think it's a great resource, right? Even our local politicians, because I watch 99.9% of the meetings because of the app, even they are, hamstrung with not enough time. And I'll often listen to their own meetings where they say, well, I haven't watched the historical commission meeting, or I missed that in the historical commission meeting. Now you can just search for that keyword, in that historical commission meeting and find that moment that you should have been researching or you should be listening to. I have everything, moving, everything operates and automatically summarizes and posts and clips and everything like that, which is really cool. But I really want people to be involved with the city meetings so that they can share and express their own concerns, right? So I recently built a clipping feature for the meeting app, so citizens can clip their own moments and share that on social media. So if you want to clip your citizen input time, or you want to clip a segment from budget talks and you want to share that on social media, so you can have your own voice, like be your own sort of reporter here in Fall River. Hopefully giving people an opportunity to have that voice, or at least share those moments to express, their interest in a topic, because, a lot of people, they want to get involved. They don't have enough time, or they don't have the means to, figure out how to get involved in these meetings. I think this is a great opportunity. And it's great for, the town of Dartmouth, as an example, just are raising their garbage fees and their waste fees, and the trash bag fees going up. And people are discovering that through this app to go, wait a minute, I didn't even know this was happening. Oh, I can just search for it right here in the Dartmouth meetings website. And, we can do the same here in Fall River.
Since our interview last week, Matt has created another app that allows residents to take a shot at how they would build out the property along Route 79. The simulation project can be found at buildroute79.com.
Man just keeps making apps for Fall River. FallRiverNOW. Go check it out. And go check out buildroute79.com. I want to see what you guys' simulations come up with. Now, one last lengthier interview from Fall River Community Media. This is with Republican governor candidate Brian Shortsleeve, who is running against Governor Maura Healey. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
Providing information on the candidates and ballot initiatives in this year's election, we're inviting candidates who are challenged in the state primary to take part in an interview before Election Day. One such race is for the Republican nomination for governor. This week, I spoke with candidate Brian Shortsleeve, who's running against Michael Minogue for the right to take on incumbent Governor Maura Healey in November. So for people who may not know who Brian Shortsleeve is, just basically tell us a little bit about yourself and, why you want to run for governor.
Well, thanks, Keith. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Shortsleeve. I am a proud Marine. I'm a successful business owner. I'm a proven government reformer. And most importantly, I'm the father of 3 teenage boys with my wife of 19 years, Liz. I am running for governor because I believe that Massachusetts desperately needs new leadership. This is a great state. I've spent my life in the private sector building businesses in Massachusetts. I founded my own firm about a decade ago. Since I got out of business school 25 years ago, I've been working with smaller firms, helping them grow and thrive. And I want Massachusetts to be number 1 again. It wasn't too long ago that we were the number 1 state in New England in terms of job growth and opportunity for young people. But if you look at where we are in Massachusetts today, we are now 50th out of 50 nationally in private sector job growth. We have 100 people leaving Massachusetts every day. And the reason why is because everything here has gotten too expensive. Taxes are too high. Electric and gas bills are too high. Local property taxes are too high. So I am running for governor to restore affordability. I'm a Marine, and in the Marine Corps, you always put the mission first and never step away from a tough fight. My focus is affordability, and I've got very concrete plans to make this state more affordable for middle-class families and for small businesses.
During a primary season, a lot of times, the candidates that may be running in a primary, the core issues tend to be both candidates tend to be more in line with some of the core issues. And a lot of times it comes down to labels. I mean, we've seen it across the country in some U.S. Senate races where on the Democratic side, there may be someone who's a little more progressive than another. On the Republican side, we hear the phrase, of course, a MAGA Republican. How do you characterize your political style?
Well, I am a proud Charlie Baker Republican. I am a pro-choice Republican. I am an electable Republican. In Massachusetts, if you look at the kinds of Republicans that have won the governor's race in the last 30 years, there's been 5 of them. And they're all businessmen that are pro-choice, fairly moderate on some of those social issues, but they're focused on fiscal discipline. They're focused on growing the private sector economy. I'm the only candidate in this race who has never audited a state agency, Keith. I will not need on-the-job training to audit state government. I've been there. I've done that. I did it a decade ago. So a lot of people can talk the talk about auditing state government. I will walk the walk.
Let me get back to your race with Mike Minogue. You know, how would you characterize on some of the issues your differences with him? You mentioned, you know, about part of his background, but in terms of some of the issues, what are some of the differences you'd like to bring up?
Well, look, here's the big differences. I've spent my life in small business. He's a billionaire healthcare corporation CEO. I have run an extremely transparent campaign. I'm available. I will talk to anybody, anytime. I do a ton of media. I do a ton of radio. I am honored to be on your show today. I've called for 6 statewide debates. I think we should have a debate in Bristol County. Maybe you could host it. I think we should have a debate out in the western part of the state. Mike Minogue will not debate. He doesn't want to answer the tough questions. He's hiding out in the basement. That didn't work for Joe Biden. It won't work for Mike Minogue. And finally, I would tell you, in terms of our direct learned experience, I have been in a state agency. I have demonstrated I can walk the walk on delivering conservative reform for taxpayers. We stripped millions of dollars in waste and abuse out of the MBTA. Mike's never done that. Mike's never been in a public agency, never driven the change the way that I have. And most importantly, the biggest difference between us is I am an electable conservative. I am a pro-choice conservative. This state has not elected a candidate in more than 60 years who's an anti-choice candidate. I am a pro-choice candidate, and I can win this general election.
You know, you talk a lot about affordability. You mentioned about, you know, small businesses, helping small businesses out, and how, you know, people and businesses are migrating out of Massachusetts. But for those who live in the Commonwealth, what are your plans to make it more affordable for those who are here and are not looking to leave Massachusetts?
Well, look, I love Massachusetts, and the reason I'm in this race is because I want my 3 teenage sons to come back to Massachusetts after college and raise their families here and build their dreams here. So I've laid out a very detailed plan of what I will do to make this state more affordable. Day one, I will strip all of those state mandated fees out of your electric and gas bills. Massachusetts now has the highest electricity rates in the entire continental United States. Think about that. The highest electricity bills in the entire continental US, close to 36 cents per kilowatt hour. Almost a third of your bill are now state mandated fees. There are 12 different fees running through your bill. In the aggregate, Keith, that's over $1.5 billion a year of taxes effectively that is being run through consumers' electric and gas bills. I talk to seniors all the time that have to choose between paying their mortgage or paying their gas bills. To put it in perspective, the average middle-class family today in Massachusetts is now paying close to $500 per month in gas and electric. That's $6,000 a year. I will strip all of those fees out. That would save the average family close to $1,500. I would also roll the state income tax from 5% back to 4%. That would provide immediate relief for businesses, because most small businesses pay at the individual rate. It would also provide immediate relief for middle-class families on the tune of $1,500 in savings. That's real money. More money for groceries, more money for healthcare, more money for kids. I would suspend the gas tax immediately through executive order. I would end the tax on tips and the tax on overtime through executive order. Those are very concrete steps that we can take to make Massachusetts more affordable for middle-class families.
You were recently in New Bedford last weekend for the big feast in New Bedford, but you're also there, I believe, a week and a half or so before that, and you actually came up with a Shore Up the South Coast plan. How would this plan, benefit cities like Fall River and New Bedford?
Well, look, I'm down at Fall River, New Bedford all the time, and this is a part of the state that feels left behind by Beacon Hill. So I rolled out my plan for the South Coast last week. It starts with protecting and growing the fishing industry. In New Bedford, that fishing port is the largest commercial port in the entire country. It's billions of dollars of economic activity. It's thousands of jobs. We've got to protect that port. We've got to scale up our government support. I also will invest in tourism support and marketing. There are great, great locations all over Fall River and New Bedford that we should be promoting with more marketing. I used to love taking my boys when they were in the Boy Scouts down to Battleship Cove and Fall River and enjoying those experiences. We will do that. We're also very, very committed to a Chapter 90 mileage adjustment for parts of the state like Bristol County, where people spend a lot of time in their cars. And then also, most importantly, I've committed that we will double unrestricted local aid. If you look at the state budget, Keith, it's grown dramatically over the past 6 years. Since 2019, we've had 200,000 taxpayers leave Massachusetts, but our state budget has grown by 60%, from $42 billion to $66 billion. The one line item in there that has not grown is unrestricted local aid. And that is what cities and towns like Fall River use for the police department and the fire department. I was in New Bedford at fire station number 9 about a month ago. That's a fire station that is facing closure over a $2 million budget shortfall. Yet at the same time, at the state level, Maura Healey, our governor's never had more money. In fact, in the budget she just passed, she's got $40 million to fund free phone calls for prison inmates. Yet she can't find $2 million for the Fall River fire station, the New Bedford fire station. But you see that across the board. You see it in Fall River. You see it in suburban communities that are facing Proposition 2.5 overrides because the state is not pushing enough unrestricted local aid back.
Right. So, how do you feel about Brian Shortsleeve? He says he's a proud Charlie Baker Republican, moderate, pro-life, well, pro-choice Republican, not pro-life. He is pro-choice and businessman, wants low taxes, wants to freeze state mandated fees for electricity, wants to do a lot. Can he get it done? Who knows? Do you like the guy? I think he just got to tone down on his coach speech a little bit, and he'll be fine. But how do you guys feel? Comment below. Now, we're going to move to Fall River, Massachusetts, and the Taylor Swift connection via the world's largest adult dollhouse store. Check this out. We're talking about.
Back. Well, if you think dollhouses are just for kids, think again. People of all ages from all over travel to Fall River to see the world's largest dollhouse store.
That's pretty wicked cool. NBC 10's Kate Hanowich has a look inside the shop and dives into its ties with Taylor Swift.
What started as a dream
When I was a little boy, I wanted a dollhouse more than anything.
is now more than Nathaniel Ellis ever hoped for.
I pinch myself that this is what I do for work.
Ellis began flipping used dollhouses in a laundry room 24 years ago as a hobby.
I would fix them up and figure out like what was their story, what style.
Hundreds of houses later, Flip This Dollhouse is known worldwide.
I didn't think it was going to end up being the largest dollhouse shop in the world, but here we are and I couldn't be happier.
The store, the home of over 100 dollhouses, big and small, ranging from as low as $99 to $25,000.
That one is pretty big. It's like 22 rooms and it's the size of an elephant.
No two houses are the same.
I figure out like what speaks to me about the house, what's going to be the story or the theme or the design style.
Down to the last tiny detail.
Sometimes I like to make it look lived in and look like something's happening, maybe a party or some sort of event.
Ellis says restoring these houses, some dating as far as 1880, can take months.
Flooring, wallpaper, furniture, rugs, curtains, lighting, everything has to coordinate.
These dollhouses and antique pieces have drawn visitors from around the globe, even being featured in the backdrop of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. The backdrop showing dollhouse pieces from the Fall River shop on fire as part of the show.
I actually went and saw her concert in the theater, and it shows the dollhouse burning down in that, and I was so excited.
The shop also gaining attention from Congressman Jake Auchincloss, who visited last week, and serving as a home for anyone who wishes to see a dollhouse.
The little boy in me that wanted a dollhouse growing up, I now get to see little boys and girls come into my shop and get a dollhouse at like 4 or 5 years old. So that is very rewarding.
In Fall River, I'm Kate Hanowich, NBC 10 News.
They said that them dollhouses start at $400, and there's one that's $25,000. The $25,000 dollhouse is the size of an elephant and has 22 rooms. Wild. Fall River, the home of the world's largest dollhouse store. Moving on, check this out. We'll talk about it. Fall River Community Block Party with vendors and free filled backpacks to conclude with illumination of famous night owl. It's going to be illuminated. Community members are invited to a free block party taking place on Choate and Eastern Avenue. The event will take place on Sunday, August 23rd at 4 p.m. Organizers are still welcoming vendors, and there is no fee to participate. Vendors who need electricity must bring their own generator. If a generator is used under a tent, the tent cannot be larger than 10 by 10. The event will feature a variety of activities and local vendors, including Bounce House, DJ, The Beaded College, M&D Crafty Corner, 627 Creations, SoCo Art Gallery, and more still being added. In a special highlight for families, more than 50 backpacks filled with school supplies will be given away to children while supplies last. Parents are encouraged to bring their kids. Brian and the team at the Night Owl will be serving pizza and Dell's lemonade throughout the evening. The night will wrap up with a special moment at 8 p.m. when the iconic Night Owl is illuminated. Parking will be available at South Coast Funeral Home for those attending. It's going to be a big event for the city. Make sure you pull up and enjoy the block party. Show Fall River that this block party can be successful. It can be peaceful. It can be a great event. And the city will allow us to have more. Come on, Fall River. We got this. Now, moving along. Check this out. We'll talk about it. Ex-Fall River Police Chief Paul Gavin to return to Fall River Police Department after termination reduced his suspension. Interesting. A former Fall River Police Chief who was fired last year over alleged misconduct will return to the department after the Massachusetts Civil Service Commission reduced his termination to a 90-day suspension. In a ruling issued Thursday, Commissioner Stein found that the city proved only some of the charges against Paul Gavin, and none of them were justification for firing. Stein wrote that the city showed just cause to discipline Gavin for neglectful but not malicious behavior during the transition from police chief back to his civil service rank of captain. The commission upheld findings that Gavin failed to properly document and handle certain firearms and left a live bullet in the chief's desk when he vacated the office. However, the commission rejected the city's claims of workplace harassment, improper compensatory time practices, and misappropriation of department procedure. According to the ruling, Gavin stored unregistered firearms, the Aguiar firearms, in his department locker for more than 10 years and forgot about them. In October 2024, while still serving as chief, he rediscovered the guns but failed to document that the department had them or turn them over to the evidence. Guy ain't never cleaned out his locker. Simply keeping them locked in his locker was not a violation. However, he did violate the department's evidence and property policy by not recording their receipt and not turning them in. As chief, this also constitutes conduct unbecoming an officer and failure of attention to duty. It was ruled that the knife in Chief Furtado's desk drawer was placed there by Garvin, who said he had found it when he took over the office, used it to open packages, and left it behind. The presence of a live .40 caliber bullet in the same drawer was based only on circumstantial evidence with no clear proof of when or how it got there. So it was proven that the knife was his, but no proof about the bullet. Although Gavin was responsible for both items remaining in the drawer when he had left the office, the commission concluded that the act was the result of neglect rather than any intentional effort to threaten or intimidate the incoming Chief Furtado. Factors supporting this included Gavin's long, clean record, his conciliatory memo to the new chief, the lack of any proven history of threats or harassment, and the new chief's own delayed and somewhat inconsistent reaction. Workplace harassment was ruled out because the conduct was not tied to the workplace. Leaving a knife and live ammunition together in an unlocked drawer of an office being turned over to a known rival showed a lapse in judgment that violated several department rules on conduct unbecoming an officer, respect toward associates, attention to duty, and the code of ethics. According to the ruling, as to alleged violations prior to 2021, the evidence established that the charges were without merit and had originated from an erroneous reading by investigators who overlooked the fact that Garvin then commanded the uniform division for which the 8 and 6 compensatory time formula was applicable. As to violations after Garvin became the MCD commander, he did erroneously credit MCD supervisory and detective time using the wrong formula. However, the undisputed evidence also established that this error was corrected by Gavin in 2021, and no officer ever cashed out more than proper amount of compensatory time due. Moreover, Chief Cardozo contemporaneously reviewed the matter in 2021 and concluded that the error was corrected, further investigation was unwarranted, and the matter was a dead issue. According to a newspaper article in August 2024, Mayor Coogan was asked about the issue then being raised in a lawsuit and reportedly stated that he too understood the mistake had been fully rectified. Commissioner Paul Stein ruled that the charge that Gavin improperly removed 2 historical photographs from the chief's office without permission is without merit. Only one historical photograph, the 1920s muster photograph, existed in the office. The second picture he removed was simply his own personal copy of a modern police department group photo, and there was never a Bragger Bridge photograph present. Gavin took both items home temporarily because of insufficient space in his locker in the MCD's commander's office, with the clear intention of returning them when he resumed duty in January 2025. Department policy does not prohibit officers from temporarily taking non-evidence police department property home, and the relevant rule about surrendering property applies only upon separation from service, which had not occurred. When the removal was questioned while he was still on leave, Gavin promptly returned the historical photograph. There is no credible evidence that his actions were motivated by animosity towards Chief Furtado rather than practical storage needs. Either party may file a motion for reconsideration within 10 days of receipt of the decision. The motion must identify a clerical or mechanical error in the order or decision or a significant factor the agency or Stein may have overlooked in deciding the case. Garvin or the city may also initiate proceedings for judicial review. So, former police chief Garvin, investigation, charges, all of this is back reinstated on the police department. Right after Chief Furtado was forced to retire. Now we got the interim J.T. Hall, but Garvin was supposed to go back down to captain. So he's going to go back down to captain after the suspension. Will they give him the chief spot back, or will they give it to Paul, because Paul has still just been interim? Even though former Chief Furtado has been gone for months now. Fall River, you know, that's how we get down. I think there's going to be a little bit of tension in the police department on whose side people align with, or who may have counted Gavin out. He's not out. Moving on, check this out. We'll talk about it.
Stepping Stone Incorporated's First Step In homeless shelter is as busy as ever this summer. Rosa Tavares oversees the shelter's operation. She says even though the organization has increased its capacity to 50 beds year-round, there's a long waiting list for those seeking shelter.
It's been challenging. There's more numbers, more people than ever, and the people that are coming are getting, they're losing hope, I think, because it's so difficult to get housing. And so not only have the numbers increased, but we're still challenged by getting as many of them housed as possible. We have a CSPHI team. That's housing case managers that specialize in homelessness. So we have good success with that. And we've got 4 case managers here at the shelter that work with the people that are on the streets and in shelter. And they house about 4 individuals a month, but it's still challenging. It's still challenging. And people are waiting a long time to get in. People are waiting 3 to 4 months to get into shelter, which is a very sad situation.
This Saturday, the shelter is hosting its annual Get Step In 5K walk. The fundraiser helps bring awareness to the homeless problem in Fall River while raising funds to sustain the shelter's operations.
Registration is at 7:30. You can walk. It's a beautiful walk by the waterfront here in Fall River. It starts here at the shelter, and then it goes right to that beautiful park down by the water, by the Battleship, by Heritage Park. It's a beautiful walk. The decision to go to 50 beds here, we were funded by the city for a year, and we didn't have a secure funding source to continue, but we've made the decision to continue. And I think that's why our walk is important this year. This walk has always been our annual fundraiser, and it's always gone directly to the shelter operations. It's always helped with shelter operations and sustain our budget. But this year it's extremely important because we raised it to the 50 beds. And, the shelter budget is in a deficit.
The First Step In is seeking a donation of $15 for each walker, and walk-up registrations will be accepted.
Listen, you're going to walk, you pay $15, donate, and it helps get people off the streets and a roof over their head. Do the right thing. Especially since there's a lot more unhoused individuals. You can also just make a donation directly if you're a big back and don't want to walk. but at least get to walk in there too. You know what I mean? It shows solidarity, and it's also healthy. Now, let's talk about voting changes in the city. Will this make it more difficult to vote, or will this make it easier? Check this out. We'll talk about it.
We're less than a month away from another election, the 2026 state primary. The Fall River Elections Office is preparing for the events leading up to the September 1st election, including accepting mail ballot applications and preparing for early in-person voting.
If you still have your vote by mail application at home, you should have received it by Secretary Galvin's from Secretary Galvin's office. Make sure that you check the box for all elections if you would like a mail-in ballot for the state primary and the state election in November. Make sure that you sign the application and return it to my office as soon as possible if you would like to vote by mail. It's fast approaching, and the deadline to submit your mail-in ballot application to my office is always 7 days before Election Day. It must be filed a week before by 5 p.m. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that we still have in-person early voting for 7 consecutive days before the state primary. It's going to start on Saturday, August 22nd, and it's going to run until Friday, August 28th. I've set the weekend hours from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m., and the weekday hours will coincide with the hours of Government Center from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. There will be reserved parking spaces for all early voters outside of the Sullivan Drive entrance. So please, there's ample time to be able to cast your ballot in time for the state primary. And of course, Election Day, the polls will be open on Tuesday, September 1st from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Get out to the polls and vote.
Mr. Lyon says mail ballots have started to go out to residents. Over 3,000 applications for mail ballots have been received thus far, with 8,000 expected before the deadline of August 25th. Some Fall River voters this year will also face a change in their polling places.
Precinct 4B, which was originally located at O'Brien Apartments on 2nd Street, has been relocated here to Government Center. The 3 precincts originally located at BCC, precincts 8B, 8C, and 9A, have been redesignated to BCC, Durfee High School, the old Nagel building. Precinct 7A, originally located at United Methodist Church on Highland Avenue, has been relocated to Durfee High School as well. We also had a consolidation over in the Flint. Precincts 6A and 6B, Cattell and Baresi Heights, have been reconsolidated to St. Anthony of the Desert Church on Northeastern Avenue. So I think the consolidations are going to work very well. The precincts were reviewed by my department as well as the Commission on Disability, and the recommendations were approved and consolidated by the City Council back in June.
All right, so they're moving the precincts. They got the mail-in ballots are mailed out. You should have got them already. If you haven't, they in the mail. I mean, and those are your election news updates. I've always had this far-fetched idea for the last few years. People think it's way too progressive. It'll never happen. One day it'll happen. Hopefully, people look back at this and remember. They probably won't. Somebody else will get the credit, like always. But a municipal app for voting. Like I see what Matt Medeiros did with FallRiverNOW. I love the idea. Now, just imagine you could also vote on it and it's secure. The amount of voters would double instantly in the very next election. People are quick to complain on social media. They would be quick to vote if it was on their phone. People want convenience. Hence why there's DoorDash and all these other Amazon delivery companies dropping stuff in your door. People don't want to go out, even if they are able-bodied. So they just don't involve themselves. And people think, oh, apps will get hacked. Da, da, da. Well, you're right. People could do fraudulent votes with paper ballots, mail-in ballots, with everything in life there's going to be a risk. However, people use apps for banking daily. How many people watching this right now have a banking app on their phone that you trust that app with your money and your life savings? Would you trust an app that's just as secure for voting? Comment below. Moving on, check this out, we'll talk about it. $250. It's 6:30 in the afternoon, and my question is, what can those of us who work late do if our work trucks are out on the streets? Another $250 all-night parking of commercial vehicles. Now, if you're working late, you may have to upcharge your price, that $250, just in case you get the ticket. And if you don't get a ticket, you came up on $250. It's like an overtime fee. Like, hey, these are my hours during the day, but if you got an emergency after business hours, the fee goes up. You might have to alter your business model, at least to cover your own finances. This is because of a lot more homes being built, a lot less parking, and all parking ordinances will be strictly enforced in the city. And it's twofold. One, that way residents in areas that lack parking can have parking and it not clogged with commercial vehicles. And two, to generate revenue, because Fall River as a city, we broke. Just saying. Moving along, check this out, we'll talk about it. City of Fall River to host Purple Heart Day observance welcome home tribute. City of Fall River Veteran Services Department invites the entire community to attend the city's Purple Heart Day observance and welcome home tribute to United States Army Private First Class Manuel Pacheco, Friday, August 7th, from 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. at Veterans Memorial Bicentennial Park near the World War II Iwo Jima Memorial. That's this morning. So, did you guys pull up to this event? Tell us in the comments how it was here at the Fall River Experience. Unfortunately, we missed it, but we appreciate the service of PFC Pacheco and all service members. Now, last thing we're going to get into before moving on is this. Check it out. We'll talk about it. Fall River man sentenced to prison after using brass knuckles and bat attack, believing man had sex with his stepdaughter. Fall River man has been sentenced after an assault allegedly involving brass knuckles, steel-toed boots, and a baseball bat. According to the Morning Sentinel, 32-year-old Michael Cody was sentenced to 15 years in prison with 7 years suspended. Cody found out that the 23-year-old victim had sex with his 17-year-old stepdaughter with autism. Cody, his wife, and another person drove to confront the man. The victim is permanently disabled, according to his mother. The judge stated that he looked into the account Cody's lack of a criminal history and still smoked him. Now, the 23-year-old victim, who's paralyzed, will now remember for the rest of his life, don't fuck with that man or his stepdaughter. He also will remember how Fall River, Massachusetts get down. Brass knuckles, steel toe boot, and a baseball bat. Yeah. Yep. You done fucked around and found out. What you think was gonna happen? You thought that shit was gonna slide? I guess you didn't know who her stepdad was and where he from. Now, we don't know where on the spectrum his stepdaughter autism is. She may be nonverbal and she may not be. So we don't know the level of manipulation the 23-year-old victim did to the stepdaughter victim, who legally no charges ever got pressed there, but that's beside the point. That was some Fall River justice. Fuck around, find out. Now, with all of that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, everybody who shared this out to their news feed, shared this to groups, tag people in the post, tag people in the comment section, send this out to like-minded individuals in Messenger. If you're an admin or a moderator of a group, share this to your group, put at everyone. If you're a digital creator, have your professional mode turned on, put at followers, at highlight in the comment section. And guys, we're going to wrap this up with some job opportunities for you guys who need a job. With that being said, everybody, you already know what it is. Be good, be safe, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, treat each other with love, dignity, respect, and all that. You already know what it is. It's your boy Aaron All Nighter. Fall River, you know, Moftis. Peace.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River. Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Nursing assistant, lifespan at St. Anne's Hospital, located at 795 Middle Street, is looking for a full-time nursing assistant responsible for providing basic bedside care and helping patients with daily living activities. Job number 245-78546. Intake Coordinator, Family Service Association, located at 151 Rock Street, seeks a full-time intake coordinator to collect personal and medical details, check health insurance coverage, and schedule appointments. Job number 245-80183. Guest Service Representative, Holiday Inn Express and Suites, located at 360 Airport Road, is seeking a full-time guest service representative responsible for checking in guests, answering phones, and taking reservations. Job number 245-80889. Weekend Shift Registered Nurse, Fall River Deaconess Home, located at 259 Prospect Street, is urgently looking for a part-time weekend shift registered nurse. For more information, call 508-674-4847. Innovative Defense Technologies, located at 456 Bedford Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Linux System Developer, job number 245-78602. Systems Engineer, job number 245-78571. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
All-nighter. Street magic. Chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Need y'all to take a ride with me. I'm just a kid from Fall River, what I know. Riding through my city that they're gentrifying. Market rate housing while there's homeless dying. And I know that they're trying cause this program's out there, but they ain't reaching out there. They ain't reaching out there. Empty storefronts, internet to blame. Gotta move different if nothing is the same. Entertainment venues, bringing nightlife. Transparent police, body cams that's live. I mean live stream they whole shift. Personal info can censor it. Even though when involving police it becomes public info. But that's a different topic for a different tempo. Back to my city that they're gentrifying. Panhandlers on the Ave and the addicts dying. Parents crying, losing kids. Half my generation that are doing bids. So how are we gonna get to the youth? Teach them right and wrong when not to shoot. Started young in kindergarten. Mental health class, your brain's a garden. Teach them all about their feelings. The senior year, let's start the healing. Since tech's here to stay, let's teach with VR. Less bills that way. But what do I know? What can I say? I'm just a kid from Fall River. It's just my observations. Chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat.